Hey everyone, in my last video I talked about my frustrations with the laptop industry, and what I was talking about was the fact that laptops are becoming thinner and lighter, and the word I also used was sexier, but we're sacrificing practicality. We're losing ports and the devices are getting smaller and lighter, but in addition to carrying your laptop around, you also have to carry around a big USB hub or Thunderbolt hub in order to get all the connections that you need, be it an SD card reader or additional ports, etc. Because some of these machines only have one USB port or one Thunderbolt port. So it's a little bit frustrating, but I have been looking at laptops over the last week or so, and I've seen this become a common trend. But what I would like to do in this video is talk about the laptop I did buy. I bought the Toshiba Portégé X30-E-133. That's the model I've got. Before I show you that laptop, I just want to quickly show you some of the other laptops that I looked at to give you a better idea of the mindset that I was in when I was looking at different laptops. So the first one here you can see is the Dell XPS 13. Now, I've brought up the Amazon listing simply because this is the older model. There's a new model out with the latest one. I think it's the 8565 or 8650, something like that. It's the new CPU, which is about 10% faster. It's another £200 for that one. Now, I wasn't looking at paying $1,550. I was looking at this used, and because of the warehouse deal that's going on, you could have got this for about $1,000, maybe $1,100 or so. This is a fantastic little laptop. I saw this in the flesh the other day in Curry's in the UK, and it's 1.2 kilograms. It's a very, very light device. It's very, very thin. It's actually got quite a good selection of ports as well. It's got a couple of Thunderbolt ports. So yeah, it's an absolute beautiful device, beautiful laptop, beautiful device, and it's got a beautiful screen. And I really like the Surface Pro as well. And that one only, weighs about between 700 and 800 grams. But when you add that type cover, it's actually over 1.2 kilograms and is actually heavier than the Dell XPS 13. Now, this ticked a lot of boxes for me as far as being powerful. It's got 16 gigabyte of RAM. It's got a decent amount of storage. But I don't know. I still felt there was a lot of money. And buying this second hand, Dell were quite poor with handling support outside of warranties, like most companies are. But if you buy this, for example, from Amazon on a used Amazon warehouse deal, if you buy it, chances are it's been out for a year and it's expired, so you don't have a warranty. So if the battery needs replaced, if you need to change anything, you're kind of screwed. Again, it's one of the limitations of laptops just now. Once a laptop is outside the warranty, and a lot of these companies are only offering 1 year, it's a little bit frustrating. Certainly because you can't change anything. Now, the Surface Pro, I'm really a big fan of the Surface Pro range. I quite liked the Surface Go the other day as well, which is the kind of budget version. It's like it's quite limited, but in many respects it's quite ideal as well because of the smaller form factor. I had the Surface Pro 4 in the past. Surface Pro 6 is like an evolution of this, and it's a quad-core CPU now. You can get it in 16 gigabyte of RAM and up to 1 terabyte of storage. These things are very, very expensive though, certainly when you opt for an i7 and 16 gigabyte of RAM. But the 8 gigabyte one is quite powerful as well, as far as what it can do. Now, for everything that I love about the Surface Pro range, I kind of hate it as well, because when I had the Surface Pro 4, I just love the fact you can attach the keyboard and take it off so easily. The kickstand works well sometimes, but it really wasn't a laptop. When you're sitting on your lap, because it's top heavy, because the keyboard's light, it never really sat in a good position. But despite that, for traveling, the Surface Pro range is fantastic. I can see why people buy this. It's got a gorgeous screen. The touch screen is very sensitive. It's one of the best ones out there. And yes, I wouldn't rule out myself buying one of these in the future. I think they're fantastic little devices. Kind of impractical, kind of way too expensive for what they are. So I'd probably buy it second hand. But yeah, this is an ideal choice for traveling in many respects. Now, I looked at some other ones. The last two that I want to show you just from Asus. Asus have a range called ZenBook, and there's 3 or 4 models that I really like there. This one's a Flip S, and it's one of those convertibles, 2-in-1 convertibles. And just look at this, it's gorgeous. 1.1 kilograms, 10.9 millimeters, and it's just thin, but you can turn it around 360 degrees and use it kind of like a tablet if you want. And yeah, you can see you can get it up to 16 gigabyte. Most of the models that I saw for this one were 8 gigabyte right enough, but a 16 gigabyte model is there. And you can see that there, full function USB-C. So it's a really nice laptop, gorgeous. And the other one that I've got is the ZenBook 13. This one, which you put like a number pad down there. The reviews I saw of this were quite positive, but they said the numpad thing was, you know, it wasn't as practical as you would like to see. You know, it's maybe a few versions away from being practical, but the idea is pretty sound. Again, this is a super thin laptop. Look at that, 1.09 kilograms. That's lighter. You know, both of these are lighter than the Dell XPS 13 and lighter than the Surface Pro 6 when you've got the cover attached. And yeah, it's tiny. When I looked at what this could do though, and I looked at the prices, for what you'd be spending, I was probably leaning more towards the XPS 13. Probably. But this was a very tempting option as well. And for such a small device, it's very powerful. But as I said, I did not buy those. I did not buy those. Those were all on my shopping list. I created a wish list on Amazon, a lot of the ones I was looking at. But the one that I opted for, the one that I decided to buy, was this. This is the Toshiba Portégé X30-E-133. Now you can see that it's now rebranded as Dynabook. But yeah, this is the laptop. And if I click on the series overview here, you'll be able to go through and see some of the specs here. Windows 10 Pro 64-bit, 8th generation i7 855U. Now that's kind of the last year's CPU. The new CPU is maybe about 10% faster. But interestingly, the 8550U performs about maybe 10 to 15% faster than the 6820 HQ, which is in this laptop. Which is pretty amazing because this thing is an absolute power hog. This thing has got a 150 watt power adapter. So it's pretty impressive that it's actually better than the 6820 HQ. Now I know those benchmarks aren't always the most reliable, but it does give you a general indication as to how powerful that CPU is. Pretty cool, you know, a quad core laptop. Now you can see a 15.9mm thin. This weighs only 1.05 kilograms. 1.05. Now this is the lightest one of all the laptops here. Certainly against the Surface Pro when you've got the keyboard. You've got the fingerprint reader, etc. But if you look at the specs here, go back to the specs. 13.3 inch screen, solid state drive, 256GB, 8GB RAM, and it's DDR4, not like DDR3, which the Surface Pro range has got. But if I click on specifications, you might get an idea as to why I opted for this. System memory is 8GB, but you can expand it up to 32. Now, in this range, the 13.3 inch range, there are very few laptops that are A, upgradable, and B, upgradable to 32GB. Most of them are restricted to 16GB if you can change it, and very few do actually allow you to upgrade the RAM. The SSD can also be replaced, and the reason that's a good thing for me is I've just bought the 1TB Samsung 970 EVO Plus. This is an absolute beast of a drive. This is one of the fastest SSDs in the market, and I could put this into my existing laptop, or I can put it into this, and I can upgrade that 256GB of storage to 1TB. Now the 256GB that it comes with is actually pretty good, but it's pretty impressive that I can, you know, upgrade it at any point. I really do like that. Moving down the specs again, you can see some other specs there. Internal graphics 620, it's got an external headphone port, USB 3.0, it's got an infrared camera for Windows Hello, 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports, it's got a micro SD card reader and an HDMI port. You can see there are 2 memory slots for the RAM. Now the micro SD card slot is perhaps one of the things that I don't like about it. I really would have liked a full SD card reader. I do use a lot of micro SD cards, but the camera that I'm recording with right now uses a full SD card. But I've ordered a dongle, a little USB stick that can accept an SD card. So it's not a deal breaker, but you know, it's something I need to work around. But yeah, this is just a very light and a very sexy little laptop. Some of the reviews say that the case is a little bit kind of flexible. and it's not as sturdy as it should be. But across the board, this looks like a fantastic option. Now you can see the price up here as well. It's about £1,450–1,500 in the UK. You see here, £1,259 excluding VAT. So once you add on VAT, it does take you to like the £1,400–1,500 range. But I didn't buy that I didn't buy it new. I didn't pay that full price. I got it second hand. Well, technically refurbished. So it's £850 from this company on eBay. And what it is it's officially refurbished by Toshiba. And normally what that means is that they will replace something. So someone sent it back and it's probably in mint condition, but they've had to replace the motherboard, or someone's rejected it or something. They've repaired it and then they're going to offer it again. Now this actually comes with a 1-year official warranty, and I believe you can extend it to 3 years for like another £40 or so. So not only can I upgrade this, I can upgrade the RAM, upgrade the SSD, I can replace the battery, I can get up to 32 gigabytes. I'm really happy about that, but it's also got an official warranty and I can extend it. It's also light, it's got a quad-core CPU, and if you look at the keyboard here, you can see that it's got the little thumbstick as well. So I'm used to that thumbstick. I'm not a big fan of trackpads because whenever I'm writing, my finger goes over the trackpad and it puts the cursor in the middle. But the thumbstick thing that Lenovo uses, or IBM back in the day, I think it's fantastic. It's very, very useful, and I would use that always before a trackpad. So I hope you've got an understanding now as to why I've bought the Toshiba Portégé X30E. There has been an X30D and C, etc. Toshiba aren't really as prominent as they once were, but they do still have a very good range of business laptops. And what I was saying in the video about, you know, laptop or computing companies not giving us the option to upgrade, Toshiba or Dynabook now are one of the few companies that are actually doing that. Now, when I was looking at this laptop, there's not many reviews of it. There's like 2 written reviews and very few videos out there about it. So I have taken a chance in a way. But the reviews that are there for this are very positive. I'm getting a 1-year warranty. I can upgrade it to 32 gigabytes and 1 terabyte. I've actually got 32 gigabytes coming within the next week. I can upgrade it, the memory, the storage. I can replace the battery. I've got the official warranty. But the one thing it doesn't have, in addition to the lack of an SD card reader, the one thing it doesn't have is a graphics card. It's got integrated graphics. This one instead does have a graphics card, and it does help when I'm doing video rendering. So when I'm doing videos in this one, you're doing rendering and things like that, the graphics card will kick in and it will help you render. Now, I need to test this laptop. I need to test the Toshiba to see how bad it is without a graphics card. I'm hoping that the 855U CPU can handle video editing with 32 gigabytes and a really fast SSD. I'm hoping it can handle video editing without needing that external graphics card. But there is a way around this. This little laptop has got 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports, which means that this thing is like a kilogram, 1.05 kilograms, and it's quite small and light and thin. But what it means is that it's an ideal little laptop for traveling because of how light it is and how small it is. But because of those Thunderbolt ports, I could, if I want, buy an external GPU, or what everyone calls eGPUs. Now, not everyone's a fan of these because there are some limitations with the Thunderbolt port. I think with Thunderbolt 3, you're limited to 4 lanes of PCI Express, I think. So I've seen some reviews where it says that if, for example, you put a 1080 into an eGPU enclosure, right? So it's kind of like a big, massive USB hub. If you put your graphics card into this enclosure and it's a 1080, then you might only get like a 1070, 1060 performance, you know, from it. So you're losing a lot of graphical power, but it's just kind of what you have to accept. I love the idea of having something small and thin and practical as far as, you know, it's got the Thunderbolt ports and the Type A port. But when I do want power, when I'm doing video rendering at home, but then what I can do is just plug it into the external graphics card, the eGPU, and then I can get that additional processing power when I need it. That's certainly an option. I'm just exploring different options here. But the laptop also supports charging over USB Type C. So this supports charging over the Type C port, which means that if I did buy an eGPU, I would have an eGPU and I just have it sitting in the kitchen or the living room or wherever I put it, and I could get that extra processing power. But all I need is one cable to connect that enclosure to my laptop, and not only will that transfer the all the processing power, it will also charge my laptop, because it can be charged with just one USB Type-C cable. There's no perfect laptop out there. There's nothing that's like the ultimate laptop. I would have loved if this had a touchscreen and it was like a hybrid flippable laptop, but this probably ticks the most boxes I've seen of any laptop in the market. There's next to no laptops in the market, certainly in the 12.5 to 13.3 laptop range. Nearly all of them have the RAM soldered. Some of them give you the option of upgrading the SSD, but there's not many, and most of them just can't be upgraded. And for me, that is a big issue. It really is a big issue. For this one, I'm going to take it from 8 gigabytes to 32, from 256 gigabytes of storage to 1 terabyte, and I can replace the battery. I do have a warranty as well, and really that's what sold it on me. The keyboard looks okay. I still think like the XPS 13 or the Surface or one of those Asus laptops looks nicer. I think design wise it's not as nice, but this is so much more practical. This is going to have a faster SSD than any of those. The Microsoft Surface Pro 6, for example, apparently the read and write speeds aren't good for the SSD. It's not, it's not the best SSD in the market. This one actually uses a Samsung, this one, the Toshiba one, but I will be upgrading it. So yeah, it's maybe not the best looking. It's certainly one of the lightest, but it's maybe not the best design wise, but it pretty much ticks every box that I was looking at, apart from touchscreen and, like the reversible screen. But thanks for watching, guys. I will do an unboxing when it arrives. I want to show you guys this because this isn't a laptop that many people know about. So I'd like to share you guys me opening the box, etc. But then I'll do a thorough review once I've spent some time with it. But I'm hoping that maybe instead of buying 2 laptops, I'm just going to buy one. Maybe this can do everything. If this is packing 32 gigabytes and a quad-core CPU, this could do everything that I need. Which also means that I can sell this. This still retails, second hand. I'll probably be able to get probably between £450 and £600, which means that I've only spent, a few £100 on that to upgrade. So if this does video editing as good as this one, I can replace this and, sell it on. So yeah, I think I've done well, guys. I think I've bought the right laptop, but time will tell. I'll be able to see in a few days when it arrives. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this look at some different laptops, and I hope you have got a better understanding now of why I've opted for the Toshiba Portégé. I'll get this model number right, X30-E-133. Let me know what you think, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are on all this. Leave a comment below, and I'll speak to you all in the next one. Take care.